Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. My schedule has gotten away from me yet again. I got to work on it. Scott very generously told me that he would help me get to bed on time. He's going to send me a text that says, "Go to sleep, Grace," uh, because it's rough. I thought there might be a trailer this morning. I was like, are they going to start advertising things again? And I just don't think we're there. I just don't think we're there. Um, Maybe tomorrow. I don't know, but I think it's everything's been pushed back so far. But we have some very good stories. We have some very good stories to discuss today. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, at the end of the stream, as always, you can ask me whatever you'd want for the final 10 minutes. I still have a Star Wars video. It's a shot. I'm editing it. I'm sorry it's taking so long. This morning I had some personal stuff to take care of. Hey, Walt, thanks for joining. I saw somebody else joined earlier, too. Let me say hi to the new members. Walt, hold on. You guys are chatty today. I love it. Nikachu, that's a great name. So those are two new members who just joined. It's so nice to have you guys here. I had to take care of a personal thing, and then I had some business stuff that got sprung on me. I just really have to get. Is anybody else having trouble with their schedule still? Is anybody having trouble with their sleep schedule? How are you guys doing? Yeah, evil Chris. I'm shooketh too. It's really rough out there. I'm a little annoyed that I can't get my schedule on track. Mika, I didn't get any Love Simon screeners. I don't even have any contacts at Hulu. That's how off the radar they are. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow night on Twitter. There's an 11. You can watch it on Twitter at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll switch it. I'm glad that I'm not the only one though. You guys are making me feel better. Lloyd says I fell asleep at 3:30. Yeah, I couldn't fall asleep. I went to bed. I think at 1 a.m. But then my neighbor slammed their door really loud, and it just annoyed me for some reason because like a couple months ago they got upset with me for closing my door loudly, not at 2 in the morning. So I was like, "Are you kidding me? That you're slamming your door at 2 in the morning?" So it was really tough. So I don't know when I fell asleep. Then I got up early and I checked my email. I shouldn't have done that, and I got annoyed with an email that I'd gotten, so I couldn't fall back asleep. It was bad. I don't like to take stuff. I'm really anti any kind of medication, to be honest with you. Chico says the online schooling is ruining my daily schedule. Yeah, it's really tough. I'm just going to have to get this under control. I must do it. I must get it under control. All right, so we will do this together. So before we get to today's 3 stories, where is everybody watching from today? What's going on? Hey, Will, thanks for joining. Yeah, Gary, I think I'm secretly stressed. Although right now I don't seem that secretly stressed. I seem really publicly stressed. But for the most part, I try and keep it down. Cartoon Serbia is in Belgrade, as always. Chico, I like your positivity. Gabriel's in Houston. Lloyd said I should have some warm tea. I do have tea in my apartment. Maybe I'll have some of that. Who's cracking a beer? That's awesome. Who wrote that? Kay is cracking a beer after work in Windsor, Ontario. That sounds awesome. I can't believe my day seems like it's hardly started and yours is over. I hope you have a nice evening ahead of you. Thanks for making me a part of it. Joseph said, just got off work. Joseph, I hope everything's going well at Amazon and they're taking care of you. Eric's in cloudy San Francisco. Hey, MJC. Kenneth Lee is eating lunch in Burnaby. That sounds great. Braden is in sunny Colorado. Let's see here. Jordan is in Scotland baking cookies. I baked cookies on Saturday. I used up the last of my cookie ingredients. Hey, Trenton, because I should stop making cookies. So I was like, I'm not going to order any more, but now I'm out, so I can't be tempted again. Hey, BAS. Kyle's still in LA, thinking of going for a hike to Malibu. Oh, that sounds lovely. $1 Million Listing LA starts on Tuesday. I'm going to watch it, especially because Real Housewives has run out of episodes. Steven just made fried chicken and corn on the cob in Brooklyn. That sounds like a great summer meal. Let's see here. David I'm moving to Scotland soon. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Hey, in Harlem there, A. Smalls. Let's see here. Renee says, Renee in sunny North Carolina eating some Chinese dumplings and rice. Oh, you guys are making me hungry. Just Phyllis in sunny San Diego. I'll do just a few more. Let's see here. Dancing Dog is in Boston with their cat. Let's see here. Oh, Will just finished watching The Impossible in Atlanta. Stay safe in Atlanta. I love The Impossible. That's like Tom Holland's like first big movie. Terry's watching from cloudy Edmonton. Hey, Lena, you're in Greece? Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. For a minute, I thought you would put my name, and I was like, that looks misspelled. And it is, because you're saying Greece. Lena, I didn't know you were in Greece. That's wonderful. No wonder in particular. Are you really from Greece? I know you're a big Wonder Woman fan, and of course, she's based on Greek mythology. Faisal's having brownies in Kuwait. You guys are living your best lives. All right, so let's get to today's 3 stories. Then, of course, as always, as I said at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything that you would like. All right, so hold on. Boop. All right. Story number 1. Lena is from Greece. That's wonderful, Lena. That's so great that you love Wonder Woman. That's a great correlation. Tanya's watching Moana for the first time in Maryland. Oh, that it's not one of my favorites, but it's certainly a very pleasant movie. All right. So the Oscars. Today it was announced that the Oscars. Yes, you just made it, Joseph. So the Oscars have been delayed. So the Oscars were supposed to be February 28th, but they've been pushed back 2 months to April 25th, 2021. Now, the first question some people, well, there's been, by the way, a ripple effect. The BAFTAs just moved, like literally just moved. The BAFTAs moved to April 11th. And I wonder if the Golden Globes will move. I think they'll have to, because now with a different date for qualifications for the Oscars, those same films will want to qualify for the Golden Globes. And how can the Golden Globes air in January if some of the films that they're going to be celebrating haven't opened yet? So they moved the deadline. Usually your movie has to open by December 31st. Now, it can open in limited release and then go wide in the rest of, in the next year, in January and February. But basically, it has to just play in a handful of theaters by New Year's Eve. And instead, they've pushed it back to February 28th, which was supposed to be the old Oscar date. Now, some of you are asking, and I've seen some other people on the internet say, why? Why would they push the Oscars? Just have a smaller pool, right? That sounds pretty good. Well, I think there's 2 reasons. First off, not all the movies can finish to air on time. To open. And apparently, Deadline reported that the Academy worked with the studios to be like, what do you have left? So Nina, yeah, it is about 1.5 years of eligibility, right? It's not a half, because it goes to February. So no, it's not 1.5 years. It's just 1 year and 2 months. Everything's basically been pushed back 2 months. So the thing is some movies just haven't opened. And some movies just won't be done in time, so they want to give them room for that. And then also, I think there's a question as to whether or not anyone will return to theaters. And some of these movies obviously want to play in theaters. I don't know why they want to play in theaters, to be honest with you. Nobody sees Oscar movies. They do notoriously poorly at the box office. Defy Bloods, for instance, just started streaming on Netflix. I don't think that many people are watching it, unfortunately. But that's pretty par for the course when it comes to Oscar fare. Maybe while everybody's stuck in quarantine, they'd watch more of these movies, these Oscar movies. And I suspect that most of the Oscar movies are actually already done because they finished them so far in advance, or they're left over from the festival circuit last year. So I don't know if I would have pushed it, to be honest with you. Maybe I just would have done a virtual ceremony. But I mean, they probably have a pretty good idea. I mean, they're there to play ball. The studios want some of their movies to be competitors, some of the bigger films that won't be ready in time unless they do this delay. So I guess that's why they're doing it. But I don't know if I necessarily would have done it. They made some other changes, as Mika pointed out. They have to have 10 Best Picture slots, none of this like sliding scale. And then also they're going to do something about inclusion. And I think, we can't have that conversation until we see what the rules are. But they're going to do something where you have to have certain amount of inclusion in your movie, or else you don't qualify for an Oscar. So let's just see what that entails. I think it's too early to comment on it at all, but that's on the radar. All right, so I saw another question somebody asked, and they said, "Will this hurt January and February? Right? Will that hurt that? And will it hurt the 2022?" Number of movies. By the way, Lloyd, I don't think they're going to have any red carpet, to be honest with you. I think they might have take photos, but I don't think they'll be doing interviews. Maybe with plexiglass, but they'll probably have a much smaller red carpet. I would suspect that only the major outlets could go. Usually they cram as many people in there as they can. You don't necessarily get an interview, but at least you're on the carpet. So anyway, I don't think this will really hurt things because January and February are pretty much a dead zone for movies. Of course, with the exception being Martin Luther King Jr. weekend and Valentine's Day weekend. So that makes that a little difficult for those two films. Come to think of it, that's going to be a little difficult for Shang-Chi. Although I don't know, Shang-Chi moved to May. Eternals. I don't think that Eternals is pretty much ready to go. So, but they might move that to Shang-Chi's date and kick off summer 2021 because I don't know if Shang-Chi's going to be ready on time still, to be quite frank with you. I don't know. I just don't know. So anyway, I think that no big movies, certainly award, as far as qualifications for the next year's Oscars, no big movies that are, it's too early. So, no movies are open during January, February, the year before the Oscars. So this is not going to hurt that. And somebody said, well, do you think maybe West Side Story or Dune could move to get out of the crowded holiday season because they want, they'll still qualify for the Oscars if they open in January or February. I don't see a movie like West Side Story or Dune moving because they want that holiday box office. They want to be a Christmas or Thanksgiving movie, or New Year's Day movie. But I can see smaller movies moving for sure. Like, for instance, it reminds me of Jordan. That's a good question about In the Heights. In the Heights could move up maybe, but right now In the Heights is set for next summer, so it still wouldn't qualify. But that's not a bad idea. But anyway, I think smaller movies like Dark Waters came out like in the middle of October or November. Nobody paid any attention to it because it had a bad release date and it didn't win anything and it didn't make any money at the box office. So I would think like some really small movies coming out in January, February would be not a bad idea, to be honest with you. I think that would be nice. Ivan just said The French Dispatch could move. That's a great movie to move. Like that would be a wonderful thing to see. Hey, Blue, thanks for joining. That would be a great thing to see in January or February. It doesn't need a holiday release. So I think that for that reason, it's a good idea. So it's fine. The Academy Museum was going to open this year, but instead it's pushed its opening to April 30th, right after the Oscars. I think that's fine. Nobody could go anyway, so it's fine. Blue, your name is perfect because we're going to talk about Jurassic World Dominion today. All right, so anyway, not yet. That's the first story of the day. How do you guys feel about the Oscars moving? I feel like the Oscars are getting less and less important to people anyway. So let's see here. Yeah, I don't see why. Well, it's funny. Spencer said, I'm looking forward to In the Heights more, but yet Dancing Dog is like, West Side Story. Oh, Blue said everyone was so welcoming. That's lovely. You're from France. Oh, that's great. And you said theaters over there are a year away, are opening next week. Oh, well, if you go, be careful. I like everybody says the Oscars can Zoom. That's funny, Platinum Diva. Yeah, I think it's not too surprising that it moved. I think it's fine. I think everyone just has to remain fluid during this difficult time. So we'll see. You don't know. Nathan doesn't want to Zoom Oscars. Oh, it would be funny. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Catalin says, I just hope Eternals doesn't move again. Well, if all these Oscar films go in there, I don't know. But although it would qualify for Oscars that year, so maybe Eternals is an Oscar movie. Let's see. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Let me move the marker. Boop. All right, so there's the second story of the day. I didn't forget the boop, Kay. Thank you for reminding me. All right, so something's been canceled and moved, which is interesting. So Star Wars Celebration was supposed to happen this year, August 27th to the 30th at Anaheim, which is a great place to have a convention because you get to go to the Disneyland theme park. It's really wonderful. And also, of course, now they have the Star Wars land, Galaxy's Edge, so that would be fantastic. And I'm sure that's very much what Disney was hoping, that everybody who went to Star Wars Celebration would then buy a ticket to go to Galaxy's Edge. So I think that's, very much, within Disney using their large empire. But as everybody expected, they had to cancel it, right? Because they can't have a big celebration. They can't have all these people show up in August. And also they have to cancel it now so they can give refunds and stuff like that. But what I found the most interesting thing about this story is they not only canceled this year, here's what's surprising, Barbie, they're skipping next year. There will be no Star Wars Celebration next year in 2021, even though Star Wars Celebration is supposed to be an annual event. I checked because I was like, oh, is this like D23 where they have it every other year? And they're like, nope, this is an annual event, but we're taking this year off and next year. The next Star Wars Celebration will be August 18th through the 21st in 2022. 2022, but also in Anaheim. because they don't want to pass up those Disney Star Wars dollars at the theme parks. Somebody had a very funny comment that I retweeted on Twitter. They said, it seems only natural that Disney Star Wars would run out of stuff to celebrate. And I think that's true. I think that clearly, I see no clear sign that they're shifting behind the scenes. And that's what my Star Wars video is about, what their game plan is. Some of the stuff we know, some new details, and that will definitely go up tomorrow. I'll definitely edit it today. It'll go up tomorrow for sure. But yeah, so I think you're going to see like a delay in making decisions because they're not going to promote anything. I think Kathleen Kennedy is definitely leaving. I think for sure. I think almost like, I'm 90% sure she's leaving. Yes, Jonathan, I did see them announce that new Star Wars game today. People seem to only moderately interested in it, but it's cool. Glalie says, I just want my lightsaber battles. Me too, Glalie. Me too. So yeah, it's interesting. I do think Star Wars needs a break, as Elliot just said, but it's funny for them to make that kind of break. I think it's a good idea. I think people need to miss Star Wars a little bit, and then maybe they'll be a little kinder going in. Oh, Joey was at the 2019 Chicago Star Wars celebration. Has anyone else here been in a Star Wars has anyone else here been to a Star Wars celebration? Oh, Joseph, yes, there's a DC convention in August. It's a virtual convention. No one will attend. It'll be broadcast, and DC's going to have basically their own Comic-Con, and they're going to have it in August 22nd is said to be the date, and they're going to promote a bunch of stuff. Maybe not video games, because there's a rumor they're going to sell off their gaming division. Hopefully that's just a rumor. Oh, Terry went in London. So did Zakaria. Oh, that's great. Lloyd wishes they had. Oh, Bethany says, I'm from Chicago and I went last year. I was so happy. Oh, that's great. Oh, Harrison's also been. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad that it's you can go. I think that's great. That's really nice. I think a Star Wars celebration would be fun, especially if it was Anaheim and I could go to Disneyland. All right, so that's the second story of the day. All right, hold on. Third story of the day. Boop. All right, so as we discussed before, Universal, I discussed this with Movie Math a week ago from yesterday. Universal was leading the charge. Hey, Thomas, I'm glad you just got here. Universal was leading the charge to start production again. And I said specifically, I bet, to finish Jurassic World Dominion. And sure enough, that's the movie they're going to start filming right away. So it was announced today that Universal, they said, we shot 4 of 20 weeks for Jurassic World Dominion. We've got 16 weeks to go. So they're going to start, thank you, Evan, that's very sweet of you. Universal is going to start shooting Jurassic World Dominion, will resume on July 6th in the UK, which is interesting because that means Warner Brothers soon start shooting the Batman again. So we'll see what happens. But so it was announced that Universal said, don't worry, it's going to cost us $5 million extra to do coronavirus protocols, and that's it. I would say that they're dreaming if they think it's only going to cost them $5 million. I think it probably costs $5 million to pay for staff and the supplies that they need, but I think they're underestimating how long it's going to take, how much longer it will take to shoot. So they say they have 16 weeks left of shooting, but I think they probably have a lot more, quite frankly. That's right. It takes a long time to shoot a movie, especially when you have something that's very visual effects heavy. So you probably have to shoot all your location stuff, and then you probably have to shoot a bunch of stuff with green screen. It's a lot of work to do. So we'll see. But yeah, so they said that everyone on the set will have to wear a mask, except for the actors. And I got to tell you, I'd be super nervous as an actor if they were like, okay, Chris Pratt, now you take off your mask and you go talk to Bryce Dallas Howard, who we're like 80% sure she's not sick. I'd be like, no, thank you. So we'll see. I wonder how their agents will handle that. But yeah, so Jurassic World Dominion, because of this, will hopefully make its release date. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. Let me get rid of the marker. All right, it is 4:37. You may ask me anything you'd like until 4:47. Lloyd, they can test the actors, but you don't know if they get sick. I don't know if they're going to quarantine them. I don't know if they're going to pull a Tyler Perry and be like, you can't go talk to anybody else. Joseph says, Grace, what do you think about HBO Max in the Max comic series? Well, if you didn't see the story today, DC Comics and HBO Max have gotten together to release special comics that are only for HBO Max people as some kind of incentive. My problem is that they're HBO Max comics about characters who get superpowers, and they're all related to HBO Max. So they're clearly just like promotional material. They're like, these people have gone to the Max. And I'm just like, that's like, it's not real content, in my opinion. Let's see here. Ken says Suicide Squad teaser won't be here before next year. Yeah, maybe they'll have like, I don't think they'll have a teaser at this convention in August. I suspect they'll have like first look images maybe. Maybe they'll have like official posters, or remember they did that first look at the Suicide Squad when David Ayer was directing it and they had them lined up at Belle Reve? Maybe we'll have something like that. Michael, I haven't heard anything about a Dune trailer. Hey, Joe, I suspect that trailers will start up again when movies start. So when Tenet actually does open, we'll see when that date is. I do suspect it will move at least one more time, probably deeper into August. I think you'll have a bunch of trailers in front of that. Zakaria, I'm not watching Stargirl. It's hard to go back and pick it back up. I have the episodes on my list, but now I'm into Doom Patrol Season 2, which is so good. The embargo for that lifts on Saturday. Mika says, well, Halloween Kills go to streaming. That seems like a movie you want to watch in theaters. Hey, Daniel, thanks for joining. I don't know if it will. I don't know. I think they'll be reluctant to send that to streaming, but it's a Halloween-themed movie. Would they push it all the way to next year? Hey, Jesse, I think we have to see what's going on with theaters, and like, I think it's still a little too far away to decide that. Max, I don't know if we're going to get a Harley Quinn season 3. It's hard and impossible to tell what the ratings are. And, not very many people have the DC Universe app. I guess it depends on how well it's doing on Sci-Fi. If it was on HBO Max, I think it would be doing really, really well. So I feel a little bad about that. I hope that we do get a season 3. Season 2 is really, really excellent stuff. Dancing Dog says, Grace, do you think a virtual Oscars would be fun? The NFL draft was virtual and fun, and you saw players in their homes. Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. In fact, I believe it had the biggest viewership ever, right? I think they could do something creative with it. I don't know if I necessarily would have pushed it, to be honest with you. Lisa, the DC service is unfortunately not free. Thomas, I'll review Harley Quinn season 2 when it ends. There's 2 episodes left. Only one for me because I'm a week ahead of you guys. But I'll review the whole season, and then I'll also review Harley and Poison Ivy's relationship, which I think is being handled really, really well. Shamar, I don't know if there will be another Wonder Woman 1984 trailer soon. As I said in my coverage, I think you might see it at this event, this August 22nd event. But they'd have to be really sure the movie wasn't moving. Like really sure, because it would be so early for the final trailer. Barbie, I did see the leaked cheetah sticker. That looked like Kristen Wiig. And I have to say it looked a little less cool than the other pictures we've seen, but it still looked cool. I just want to see her in her full glory before I make a judgment. MJC says, how long do you think people will wait for new stuff on Disney? Sufjan said that. How long do you think people will wait for Disney Plus new content? Well, a lot of us are signed up for 3 years, so I'll wait for 3 years, I guess. I think, they're going to have the Marvel stuff, by the end of the year. So I think it'll be fine. And Mandalorian will make its October date. Courtney says, do you think that theaters can afford not to show Universal's movies as retaliation for what they're doing? That's a good question. I think it depends. Let's see. Let's see how many people are going to theaters. I think it's impossible to know what studios should be expected to do until we see how many people actually show up to see Tenet or Mulan. If Mulan doesn't move, like let's see what everyone's saying. Oh, I'm going to go to the theater. Oh, I'm going to go. But I think you don't know for sure uh, unless you actually get the numbers. And so then you'll have a better idea of what's going on here. Hey, Leah. Leah was on the show yesterday. I haven't heard anything specifically about Mulan other than what I've shared with you. I think they'll decide this week, though. Jordan, I'm not going to cover The Last of Us 2 because I didn't cover the first one. I'm not too familiar with that game. Also, I hear it's a real, landmine of social issues, and so I don't really don't know if I want to wade into an area I don't know very well. I don't know the mythology, so when you layer on top of it a lot of different, I don't know. I can't really comment as to whether or not I think they made the right choices because I don't know where they're coming from. Barbie, I will review Love, Victor. Waffles said, should Mulan and New Mutants switch release dates? There's an idea, Waffles. Oh, I like that. You should call up Bob Chapek. I don't think he's on Twitter. We should tweet him. I think that's a pretty darn good idea. I think Mulan will move or go to PVOD. Blue, new member, says, will J.K. Rowling's controversy affect the Fantastic Beasts franchise moving forward? I think it will. I think there's a very good chance, especially because she's not really adding anything, that they might ask her to step back. She'll still get a paycheck. Her name will still be on it. But I think they might just want to be like, you know what, JK, why don't you take 5 and let somebody else take over this brand and see how it goes. Lena says, Grace, do you think that we will see any new footage of Wonder Woman 1984 when Inception hits theaters on July 17th? They said they would show stuff from the upcoming movies. I think they might. You might even see some Dune in front of that. You might see some Godzilla versus Kong. But the question is, are you going to go out there to see it? I mean, I would love to cover it, but I'm not. I think I have to wait and see what's going on with. I don't even know if theaters in New York City will be open at that time. I don't think it would be possible for me to see that footage. Maybe they'll release it online, which would be great. Favorite foreign film, says Elizabeth Johnson? Well, right now I'm really into Parasite. Love Parasite. Great film. Everyone should see it. But I like Life is Beautiful. That's a really good, Italian film. Carlos says, what do you think it's going to take for Disney Plus to be on the same level as Netflix? They have to have that level of new content coming out every week, and they have to have stuff that's popular, beyond, just The Mandalorian that people are talking about in the pop culture space. I think that, Amelie's another great one. That's a good one, Pyromatic Idiot. But yeah, I think that, and I think they're going to get there. Once Marvel starts going, I think they'll get there. Let's see here. Dancing Dog 60 says, will AMC go under? I don't think AMC will go under. I think so. I think they'll have to file for bankruptcy, and then someone will purchase them. Trenton says, do you think that Disney Plus will eventually fail as a streaming service due to the lack of mature content and just original content in general? No, I think Disney is such a strong brand and people love and trust it with their kids that it doesn't have to have adult content on there at all. The only thing it needs is more original content. But Disney was very smart to make it just so dirt cheap. It's just so cheap that I think that they'll be fine. Let's see here. The Geeky Gator says, will Godzilla vs. Kong have a clear winner like BVS did? If so, who? That's a good question. I think there'll probably be a draw because they're pals, right? It is time. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's so nice to see so many of you. Everybody, I just appreciate you tuning in at all. It's so nice to have you in this conversation. Although, of course, an extra special thanks to those of you who are members. I do appreciate it. It really helps me out substantially, particularly during this time. It costs, I think, around $8 a month, but I do 4 streams a week. And we have watch-along parties, and I get a percentage of that, but also, of course, YouTube does as well. But, it does help me out a lot. So to those of you who are continuing to do it during this difficult time, thank you so much. Membership's actually gone up, and so I'm really proud of the community that we're growing here. All right, everybody, see you tomorrow. Bye.